Mark Skousen, Libertarian, economist, author, and the man behind the popular conference FreedomFest, which is coming up in July in Las Vegas, joins us on Kitco News today in studio. Mark, good to see you here in person. Thanks
here,
for being
right
with us.
in New York, the greatest city in the world, next to Las Vegas,
Next to Las Vegas, of course. I was excited to have you on today out of all days. Your Libertarian colleague Ron Paul was on CNBC earlier this morning speaking about how we will now see a global meltdown post-Brexit. What are your thoughts?
Well, you know, I've always been a big admirer, as you have, of Ron Paul as a political figure. But when he steps into the financial realm, I'm a little bit concerned because he's been promoting this doom and gloom philosophy now ever since he left office. And he's getting paid a lot of money for it. And I think it's unfortunate that he's doing this at a time when we need, do we really want to scare seniors who already have anxiety attacks, and now Brexit is coming into play, another one of the dominoes that's promoting this bearish outlook. Meanwhile, the markets have had a substantial recovery. I think it's a tempest in a teapot, basically, the whole problem. Yes, people are going to try to break out from the European Union and so forth, but I don't think it's the end of the world scenario that Ron Paul and other doomsayers are promoting.
But here we are, post-Brexit. Some are still talking, delayed rate hikes by the Fed.
Very much
But
delayed.
now some are speaking Fed rate cuts as early as September. Now this is back on the table. How do you see it, and what do you think the Fed should be doing
Well, how
here?
much more can they cut?
Right.
And yes, they could possibly go to negative interest rates. I don't see it. It certainly would be positive for gold if they did that. But it is a bad sign if they cut rates, because it means that we're not back to normal. We're not back to positive interest rates of 3 or 4 or 5 or even 6% used to be the traditional figure for long-term rates. So we're stuck in this malaise of low growth, but it is growth. We have a bit of a mild recession. If you look at my gross output statistic, it suggests that we're in a mild business recession, not a consumer recession. But I think that's positive for the stock market. There's lots of times where you have a slow growth economy, and as long as interest rates stay low, Warren Buffett has made this point, that you can have a rising stock market. And I think that's what we're going to see.
And do you think this bull run will continue for gold?
Yes, for the first time in 5 years. So I can speak authoritatively about gold because I got out of gold in late 2011. It was one of my better calls. And now I'm back in as of February. I've been recommending Franco-Nevada, a more conservative approach to investing in gold. But yes, I'm back into gold.
Let's talk U.S. elections. I know Donald Trump was a speaker at your conference last year before anyone thought he would really get this far.
Standing room only.
But, the rise of Trump, the rise of Sanders, what does it really symbolize? What's the greater message here? Now we're seeing, the UK wanting to leave the European Union. What's the real message here, you think?
Well, I think the real message is that people are fed up with what's happening in Washington or what's happening in Brussels. They don't like to be told. More and more, everything is being either mandated or prohibited. And that's what FreedomFest is all about, because our theme this year is Freedom Rising. We have George Foreman coming, and he's a knockout entrepreneur. And so maybe we should talk about fighting for freedom. And I think Trump is sending a mixed message, but he does have good people behind him. He's got Steve Moore and other supply-siders. I like his Supreme Court decisions. So I think he's going to be presidential and a good president if he can convince the people. He's down in the polls. He's down in the bettors. The odds makers don't give him much of a chance. But if he acts more presidential, watch out, because the general public, this is part of the Tea Party movement. People are fed up with being told over and over again how to run their lives. And that's what Freedom Fest is all about.
Well, you also have Libertarian candidate Gary Johnson at Freedom Fest. Rand Paul will be there, George Foreman, as you mentioned, Don King, really an eclectic
we have
mix.
260 speakers. You guys are going to be there. We have all the freedom organizations. If people go to freedomfest.com, they can read all about it. It's only in a couple of weeks, July 13th through the 15th. So, and we do have Gary Johnson there. I am hopeful that we jump-started Donald Trump's campaign perhaps will jumpstart a third-party candidate.
Well, we look forward to covering it. Thanks so much for joining us, Mark. Thanks for being in the studio.
Thank you, Daniela.
And thanks for watching this edition of Kitco's Gold Report. We'll see you tomorrow.